Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Andy Byrnes with Micron Ventures for another edition of 5-Minute Founders. This week, or this episode, I should say, we're talking with Sven Brunner, the CEO of Sphere. Sven, can you say hello?
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for having me, Andy.
And where are you calling in from? Where are you zooming in from?
I'm zooming in from Santa Clara, California.
Oh, you're from Santa Clara. Great. Well, good to see you, man. You're working on really cool stuff. So Sphere is an enterprise platform bringing augmented reality and virtual reality applications to the workplace, right? Helping teams be more efficient and effective in their job, leveraging this like new immersive technology modes. Micron is working with them, really fascinating applications. And I'm excited to have you here, Sven, and learn more about you and what you're building at Sphere. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great. Okay, so first question, before starting Sphere, what is the most impressive thing you've built?
I think the one thing I'm proud of is basically we bootstrapped Sphere. So before Sphere, we had basically a software agency. The work itself was maybe not the most exciting one because basically work for hire, but it allowed us then to basically raise the very, very initial, what probably you would call nowadays pre-seed money ourselves by basically selling our work and then collecting that money, not paying out as salaries or anything like that, but actually using it to bootstrap Sphere and basically develop the first prototype and basically pay salaries all the way up until then our actual seed round. So I would say that's the one, probably more a business achievement than actually a technical achievement, but it's still something that I'm pretty proud of. And being pretty young founder still, I don't have a 20 years of experience before I started companies. It was like relatively short between like college, agency, and then Sphere. So that was kind of the order of events.
Ramen profitability. Love it.
Exactly.
Love it. All right. So take a minute, describe Sphere. What does your product do and how is it unique?
Yes. So you can think of, so I always try to kind of, if someone has no idea of what XR even is or what Sphere even is, I sometimes try to describe it as, think of it as the Microsoft Office for the XR world. So basically having the tools that you need as an enterprise to tackle all the big, wildly, popular or important use cases out there, right? At the center of it, it's always collaboration. So it's inherently a collaboration solution. It's a collaboration platform. And when I say collaboration, it really means time, space, even language doesn't matter anymore. So basically what you will be able to do, you put a headset on. So if we wouldn't do that over Zoom, but we would both do that over Sphere, which maybe next time we should, we would both have a headset on and we could communicate with each other in a much more natural way. I would see you as an avatar, for example. We synchronize eye movement, eye blinking, mouth movement, hand tracking, how you move your head. So it's a very, very lifelike and natural representation of you in XR. If we don't speak the same language, I'm, for example, a German native speaker. Let's say we wouldn't be able to communicate in English. I would be able to kind of toggle on our live translation feature that would hear, instead of your actual voice, I would hear a translated voice in my native language, and you would hear the same. So it's really, what we really try to do is get people the tools they need in this environment that we're in to really effectively collaborate, communicate, and use that in their business. There's a ton of other tools we offer on top of that, but that's, I would say, the really, really core aspect of the solution is collaboration and across, again, borders, across different regions, and again, different languages even.
Right on. So selling into enterprises is really hard, and you bootstrapped towards this. What motivates you?
So I think for me, the motivation was always, and that's why I got into this space, is I'm always really passionate about being at the forefront of let's say a platform or technology revolution, right? And then I still think XR is one of them. We all know all the buzzes at the moment with AI and generative AI, which is honestly great complements. They complement each other perfectly. I think XR is a perfect vessel to basically bring in AI in general. But I would say at the core, this is really, really what excites me. Having the opportunity with what we're doing in our company, our tool, to I know it's kind of a term that I don't use lightly, but really revolutionize how we work and collaborate together, right? This is a very, very fundamental change in how we communicate and collaborate, especially in enterprise and in the business. And even how we interact with technology and computers in general, right? It's a much more natural and efficient way to talk to a computer, to work with a computer, because I can use my voice, I can use my hands, I can use gestures, and I'm not glued to a 2D screen with a keyboard and a mouse.
Sure.
It really frees you up and allows you to really unlock all the power that technology has to offer.
All right. So looking forward, you have all this technology like to offer these customers and users around the world. In 5 years, what will folks be saying about Sphere?
So I hope they will say that we had a very successful IPO. But no, more seriously, I mean, maybe that is something I will say. No, but I think what we want from a product perspective is really that they look back and say, hey, Sphere really helped us navigate or even excel in this, I would say, post-COVID world, where we're now in a either hybrid, remote work, and I know a lot of companies are still trying to navigate, hey, how do we thrive in this environment? How do we still have all the benefits of in-person collaboration, of having people next to you and with you? But it's just the reality of that we're living in is they might not all be in the office anymore, right? And that's not going to change. I mean, some companies try and push, and we always cite very interesting statistics of how many employees would immediately quit if they had to go back 5 times a week. Sure. In office. And on the other hand, executives who really, really want people to come back into office. And I think in 5 years, maybe people look back like, hey, Sphere actually helped us kind of resolve this issue and being able to thrive, to operate as efficiently as before. But now people are much, much freer of where they work from, how they work, and where they're located.
I like your 5-year future. I want to be there. Last question, and this is one of my favorites. If you wanted listeners to learn one thing about Sphere, what would it be, and what's a website where they can visit to learn more?
Yeah, I would say a really interesting one is, and I'll post it here in the chat, a quick link. It's basically a case study we did with one of our customers, which I think is a very, very good example of how technology can also do good, right? We talk a lot about ROI, we talk a lot about, financial benefits, and of course we're a company, right? We're obviously also after that, but there's also some of these cases that really also have a more human aspect, and this is one of them. So I'm not going into full detail on what it is, but basically in a nutshell, it's a German hospital group, a pretty large one, the Heidelberg University Hospital Clinic Group in Germany is using our solution basically for telemedicine, specifically to combat violence against children. So basically with our solution, it's now much, much easier to remotely support local doctors examining patients, children that may or may not have been victim to child abuse, which is a very, very sensitive call, as we can all imagine. And rather than having the specialist traveling on site for hours, the child has to wait, the parents have to wait, everyone has to wait. It's in this kind of weird state of not knowing, because you cannot send a child back to their parents if you actually believe it's being abused. You also don't want to make a false accusation. And they're now using basically our solution to basically connect the local doctor with the expert that is hundreds of miles away, that has to assess that child, that patient, and make that call much, much quicker, much better for everyone involved. It's a very powerful use of this technology of our solution, and I would definitely recommend to read that case study. It's a very interesting one. Yeah. It really also shows the potential of that technology and how it can also do good in the world, besides just making money and providing ROI and reducing machine downtimes and so on.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. I'm gonna read that right after this Zoom. But no, thanks so much, Sven, for joining us and sharing more about what you're doing with Sphere. It's pretty inspiring what you're building, and like I love the concept of like humanizing these technology interfaces that we're all like working on and building together. So thanks so much for existing, and thanks so much for the 5 minutes, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks again for having me.